But it was all front.
It was all front. Like during the so they'd have like visiting hours from like 8 to 8 or something like that. So my parents would come, and I don't even think I've really told my parents this that much. So watch the podcast, mom and dad, or listen to it. But like during the day, I would always have visitors, right? Either my parents or people coming through, and I felt like I needed to do this front where I had to put on the strong face and be like, you know what, this sucks, but God is great and all things are good. And I would put up that front from like 8 to 8, and then once all the visitors gone, like it would just change. Well, I'm not saying it changed, but then I didn't have to like lie anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I was very upset. I would like cry myself to sleep every night, and I was like really angry at God. I was like, okay, like, what the hell? What is this?
How you like your eggs, fried or fertilized? The way you move your hips, girl, make me hypnotized. How you like your eggs, fried or fertilized? 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 The way you move your hips, girl, make me hypnotized.
It was early morning, about 9 o'clock. Had a freak last night, made her body rock. Feeling kinda groggy, stomach tossing, turning. She said, was that your belly, or were those birds chirping? I said that I was hungry. She said, baby, me too. Why don't we go out and get us some breakfast, boo? We ain't gotta leave to get no breakfast food, 'cause I'm a lady tamer and a chef too. So I began to cook, could tell I had her shook. She wasn't ready for the recipe in Hummer's book.
Good morning, guys. We are currently like 15 minutes south of the U.S.-Canada border right here in Washington. Was it Bellingham? Bellingham. Something like that. Last night was dope. Went to the Sam Harris, Jordan Peterson event. Had a great time. I probably didn't understand anything. You always think you understand things. You understand smart conversation, but no, you really don't. You just try to entertain yourself and make yourself think that you're smart. But it's a side note. So today's conversation, dude, it's one of my best buddies. I actually lived with them for my second year at Cal Poly when I was in San Luis Obispo, finishing up my undergrad. His family hosted me through an internship through the church, and while I was doing an internship through the church. And they acted as a host family, so they provided free housing and everything for the whole year, dude. I was there, and it was amazing. It was a huge blessing just to be able to. I mean, you have free living, and you guys know that the stereotypical like college years, like you're just broke, you got no money, and I was exhausted just trying to finish everything up for school. I was about to get married in November, so it was like I didn't have the option of failing or retaking any classes. I was like, I have to get this done. So the Wolf family is just a huge blessing. I can never articulate the real words that it would take to explain how thankful and grateful I am for them and for everything they did for me, my family, my wife, and my future, and my life as a whole. So that's my little 2 cents on them. I love them. When people ask where I stayed, I was like, oh, I mean, they said we're essentially a family up there. So, and during this conversation was like the worst stage of my chickenpox little flare up this past week, dude, which was bad. But I won't get too much into that because I'm right here outside of Starbucks. I don't make Rosella upset. But yeah, I sat down with my buddy Jake Wolf. Wolf is what, 24, 20? No, he's older than that. Probably 26. I don't know. I think he mentions it. But just I said one of my best friends, dude. We talk like once a year, if that, but still, it's just he's family. He's family, and he got into a bad car accident a few years back, where one of his friends actually passed away, and Jake ended up with like terrible injuries, broke both his legs. And he explains everything specifically in the conversation, but he was essentially on the brink of death, and it really. From what it sounded like, I mean, we never really talked about it because it's not something you just bring up in conversation. But it was rough, dude. I mean, you could just imagine without even knowing him that it was a rough situation. So we got into all of that. the way it affected him, his family, his faith, his beliefs, shaking them and ultimately making them stronger. And yeah, man, I think that's said enough. Here's the man, Jake Wolfie Wolf.
How you feeling health wise, dude? Freaking.
I'm feeling good. When I first started this welding gig, my feet gave me like a lot of grief. Like throughout, it would like.
Just from being on your feet all day?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Just because of like my work boots had like no arch support, which apparently I need a lot now. Coming to find out. But
Wait, is it like natural or is that like after all the surgeries and everything?
I think it's the
the
surgeries because things just don't gel anymore. Things just don't move, and it would just get like progressively worse. Like throughout the week, like Monday would be okay, but then like continual like by Thursday I was like limping harder than I had.
Like feet super sensitive or like what or like how?
It was just the way my foot would be like rolling on the boot, especially my like left leg would get like really bad.
Yeah.
But then I got custom insoles and it was like night and day.
Oh really?
So now it's like so much better. Oh my god, yeah.
Backflips.
Yeah, like jumping down off of shit. Not you know, you wouldn't know because you know you wear long pants and everything. You might be like, oh yeah, that's the guy who broke both his legs. You know, funny shit. But like before, I was like limping harder than I had since like the accident had begun. Because it was just so painful. But yeah, things are going really well. You know, it's just trying to figure out what the new normal is because things aren't going to be 100% again.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Damn, so you still feeling like repercussions, huh? Like for sure?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like especially what's really weird. So you, like when I grew up, my grandma had like a hip replacement. And when it would rain, she'd be like, oh, I know it's going to rain because like my hip is sore. Right? I'm like, okay, shut up, Grandma. You're just watching the news in the morning. You know, I see you.
Oh, see now.
Yeah. Shut. You don't know nothing. You know. But now, when the clouds are coming in and when the clouds are coming out, I'll feel it. Like especially my left leg, I'll feel it when it's gonna rain. Like something about the humidity or like the different atmospheric pressures like really affect my legs.
Like a tingle or like a pain or like what?
No, it'll be like sore.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
It'll be like throbbing, like especially whatever this point is, right? You forget?
Damn.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do in your podcast. Be like, yeah, Jake broke both his legs, yeah. But
no, that's actually what I want to touch on too. I want to talk about you, but then I want to talk about like just like the recovery from all that because that's just like crazy. Because that's like just something that people like go through.
And
I never seen the scars. That's nuts.
What?
No.
What?
I mean, I don't think I ever. Hey, Jake, can I see your scars?
Well, you saw me in, like. I guess
I've seen you, but I never.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
hey,
generally
Jake, wear that lifeguard.
Yeah. Well, generally I wear like high socks too now because I hate the tension.
Yeah,
I remember I was in bar like it was when I was like still hobbling around looking homeless and stuff. But I was in Goodwill looking perfect for the part at Goodwill. But this woman saw me with my scars and she's like, "Oh God, what happened to you?" And that day forward, I was like, "I'm wearing long socks. I don't need this bullshit. I don't need this sympathy." But
she straight came up to you like that?
Oh, she like we're like passing through an aisle. She was just like
she's about to cry.
Yeah, she's like, what happened? Like, and I was just like, what kind of quick? Oh, what happened to you? I'm like,
do you want my sandwich?
Yeah. She's like, oh, help me pay for this really trolly picture that I'm here for. You know? No, yeah, but I mean like the scars and everything are pretty wild. And the thing is too is like now that the scars are getting older, they're like some of them are becoming more visible.
Really?
Like more visible, but like these are like more white almost are prominent.
Okay, I got you.
So like there's this one where they had to put call us my little butterfly or whatever.
That's nuts, dude.
It's cool. And I mean, I don't think these things will ever like, I'm never gonna be in the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, you like wearing Speedos. I'm not trying to make kids run away from me thinking I'm the Nightmare on Elm Street over here. So.
That's nuts, dude.
It's cool. I don't know. It's been an experience and definitely blessed, I mean, I always see the photos on Facebook like, oh, this was happened like 4 years ago, or like this is coming up on 4 years now, I guess. But I'll see like photos of you like coming to visit me in the hospital. It just gives me like so much joy. I was like, that was a shitty situation, but I was just like surrounded by so many people who loved me, and I was just like, what else could you ask for? You know, like seeing like you, and then like there's pictures of like.
I assume there's people that just there all the time.
All the time,
and
a lot of those photos I don't remember because I was so drugged out too.
Yeah,
just like, poof. So like Chris, like they're always messing with me when they're in the hospital, but I don't know. It's wild.
It's yeah, dude. It's freaking. It's like that's like life altering. Did that give you like a whole like a. You like.
I mean,
do we want
to do a podcast? Like,
I'm already recording.
Oh, you're recording right now? Oh, okay. What's up, friends?
I was gonna do. I was just gonna put on record, and I was gonna have you listen afterwards and see if you wanted me to edit anything out.
Okay.
Just 'cause instead of making it like we gotta go to the room and do anything, like I just do it.
Okay, this. Cool.
But yeah, dude, like you freaking break down. I don't want you to get into too much detail. I don't know how much you feel like uncomfortable about.
I mean, I'm pretty open about it now.
Like, you had a friend pass away, so I don't know how much you want to get into that. But like break down just like what happened, like the accident itself, and then.
We'll go from there. Yeah, I'll give you the rundown.
Yeah.
Because we're just talking about scars, and people are just like, okay, he's got scars. But let's see. So me and my buddies went to super nerdy, but we went to watch League of Legends competition at a bar, and it was like a viewing party. Like people were just there to watch the TVs, and they like. It was like wild. It was like a lot of fun.
Where was this at?
This was like Hollywood. I believe. I forget the Irish bar's name. And we went there. It was like super fun. Like our buddy Adam, he said I'll DD. So me and Chris go ham, as you do. And I remember we're like, hey, we don't have to drive home tonight. We can just like pass out either in the car, or I knew buddies in OC. We could just drive there. Yeah. And he's like, oh, no, we'll drive. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, if you're confident about it, we'll go. And then I remember we're driving back from LA to San Luis Obispo, and I pass out almost instantly, and I think Chris did too. Like, toast. Yeah. And I remember the first thing that happened was I remember waking up and the car's flipped upside down. And be like,
so you woke up and you're upside down, or like you're like, what am I?
Well, the car, essentially, my buddy fell asleep at the wheel, flipped the car on the highway. So when I wake up, my head is on the ceiling of the car. Wow. We're grinding down, and I'm like, this is different. Probably still drunk. I take that back. No, I got my blood alcohol tested. Was drunk. But the thing is, we get out, right? He flips the car in the middle of the highway. We're fine. All three of us get out. And I'm just trying to calm my buddy Adam down because he was driving Chris's car home, and he's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember anything. And from what Chris and my parents have told me was while we were in the highway, a car came and hit us while we were in the highway.
But you guys had already gotten out of the car, right?
We had gotten out of the car. So we were outside the car. What happened was that car hit our crashed car. And that crashed car then hit me. It hit me and Adam, and Chris got a couple scrapes, but he missed the accident.
That's crazy.
Which is wild. I don't remember that at all. I just remember waking up in the hospital the next day, coming to find out that Adam had passed away.
So it's from so you go from hopping in the car, falling asleep, waking up, you're upside down.
You're like, oh, we're good.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I'm thinking, accident, but hey, we're all fine. We're fine. We're still gonna get home, And it was like Final Destination shit. It's like, you had one car accident. Oh, you're still good. Yeah. But then here comes the second one. Like, let's go. And
from waking up upside down, it's hospital, pretty much.
Then hospital, yeah. That's getting out of the car, trying to calm Adam down, and then I just remember waking up in the hospital. But at that point, my memory of the hospital was, I think, a week after I'd already been in the ICU. Because I don't remember the first week of the ICU. I think they had me so drugged up. I think it's not the medical term, but like the slang for it is like Michael's milk, whatever Michael Jackson was on. That's what my mom says. Take it or leave it. I don't know.
She's a professional.
She's a professional. She's a nurse practitioner. But so I remember waking up in the ICU and then coming to find out that Adam had passed away in the accident.
Were you even like aware enough to even like take that in, or is
it when at the moment it seemed like a dream?
Yeah.
Because for me, not many times I've been told, oh, so and so passed away.
Yeah. How old were you at this time? 22? 20?
Yeah, this would have been when I was 22.
Yeah.
Just turned 22 in September, and I remember No, I didn't. It didn't feel like he had passed away
Yeah.
because I wasn't home and Adam wasn't home. You know, it wasn't like
Yeah.
in direct contact. It was like I was
Yeah.
in a separate spot. And I think it only became real to me. And I remember the first time when I actually started feeling grief for it was I saw Adam's mom. Adam's mom came to the hospital, who I hadn't met before the accident. And I just remember instantly like breaking down, crying.
Really?
Just being like, I'm so sorry. Because at that point it wasn't real. At that point it was like, oh, he passed away, but like I hadn't, you know, I was in a totally different environment. I was in a hospital I'd never been in, surrounded by people, and
You know what's going on.
I didn't know what was going on, and it didn't feel real because it, you know, I didn't have anything to compare that to.
Yeah.
And then when I saw Adam's mom, I was like, this is it. And it was just this like uncontrollable wave of emotions. And
What was she like when she got there? Was she?
I mean, she was crying right with me, you know, but she was trying to comfort me, being like, hey,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's not your fault, you know, these things happen. And Adam's mom was one of the most, I've never seen someone flip so quick to be positive about something like that.
Really?
Like, some people will be really bitter in that situation, right? Be like, damn it, that other person that hit us, right? Like, fuck, like, you know, just mad at the world. But she was, it was at least almost every interaction I had with her, she was almost like, you know what, it sucked, but it must have been Adam's time. Like, already kind of accepted the
Is she
situation.
a believer? Is she a Christian? Or?
I believe so.
Okay.
And that was wild to me,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest, like, because I was mad, you know, like,
I just met.
like, you
I
know me,
I know Angry Jake.
yeah, you know Angry Jake.
So I just imagine you being
And you
crippled
can't
in
move
the
in
bed.
the
Yeah.
hospital bed.
Oh, and that, and
I said strawberry yogurt.
yeah, well, dude, you should have, I don't remember this, but this is what my mom told me, was when I was in the ICU, and I'm like, I had like a punctured lung and everything else, I had a lot of stuff hooked up to me, I would try to get out. Because in my mind, I was like, why the hell am I here? I need to get to work. That's what was kept happening. I was so dedicated. I'm like, I have to gotta clean pools tomorrow. What the fuck?
You think this is a game?
You think this is a game? Because, you know, they tell you, hey, do you know where you are right now? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm in. They're like, do you know what day it is? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, it's Tuesday. I'm like, Tuesday? I work Tuesdays, you know? And I would try to get out, and they say, Jake, no.
And you're drugged off your ass.
Oh, drugged off my ass. So I didn't understand the situation. So there'd be multiple times where in the middle of the night in the ICU, because I wasn't sleeping very well, I would just get up. And the thing is, my legs are
Like,
broken,
didn't
so I
work.
just fell on the ground, and all the wires are pulled out, like the tube pulling, like
Blood everywhere.
Everyone must
and
have hated.
all the
Must have
alarms,
hated you.
all the alarms are going off. Like, this man's dying, and they run in there, and I'm just on the floor, just like, and this I had to have happened multiple times one night. Because the guy was so just like over it. He was just like
Strapped you down.
yeah, exactly. They
Kicked them?
they gave me like a wristband that I still have. It's like taped in my room. My mom taped it on my room. It says fall risk because he kept trying to get out. I kept trying to get out and escape. And
He was like dragging himself out.
yeah, but really, I was like, you know, oh, things aren't working. I don't know why, but I need to be somewhere. I need to be at work. But it's just interesting because a lot of times when, at least in the movies, people are like, oh, I woke up in this like room. I never felt like I like woke up, just like gained consciousness. Like I'm in a room, like not like this sounds kind of like I'm waking up, but it was just I now I have memories from then on, but not from before. So it's weird.
Oh damn, dude. So all right, so you're in the hospital bed. You're a fall risk. You're trying to escape. You
And
have
I guess-
family and friends coming in and out. Dude, like, what does that progression look like? Like from freaking day one till you get out. Like, dude, what's that? Like the
'Cause,
recovery, healing, all that.
I mean, I was in Ventura City Hospital for 3 weeks, and then I got transferred to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital for 3 weeks. So I was in the hospital for 6 weeks total, which sucks
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
And it was weird. It was a bit overwhelming, to be honest, you know. And
So wait,
you
you
know.
broke both your legs.
yeah, so quick breakdown. During the accident, I had both of my legs had compound fractures.
Ugh.
They told me I had a
Just
hair
bones sticking out
frame.
everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much that's what they told me. I never saw it. But well, I guess my mom has pictures, but that's neither here nor there.
Of course you did.
Of course she does. But I had compound fractures in both left and right leg. They said I had a hairline fracture on my pelvis. I don't know if I believe it, just because I'd never felt it. But you're in a bed, so I don't know. I had a punctured lung and I had all the tendons ripped on my right forearm. Well, but the thing is, you know, it's a pretty long list. Even though I had all those injuries, the things that mattered didn't really get hurt. Like I had no head injury, which is no spinal injury.
Yeah.
So a lot of these like big injuries that happened, it was kind of like, yeah, these are huge, but you can move forward from this. It wasn't like I have this irreversible...
No vital organs or anything.
No vital organs. Like, yeah, punctured lung, but that's pretty easy to fix.
Were you knocked unconscious, like, in the...
I don't know. From my understanding, apparently, in the ambulance, I, like, had the wherewithal or mind, like, oh, yeah, can we have your insurance card? And I pull out my wallet and pull out my insurance card. Because, of course, my mom, when she gets the call, she's like, oh, you must need his health insurance. And they're like... Oh, no, he gave it to us. I don't know how that works when you've got both your legs broken and everything else going on. And your arms.
I ain't paying for this.
Well, yeah, I ain't paying for this. Well, you know, they probably, you know, they're just like, oh, we're going to give him some. I was probably feeling good real quick. So they're just like, oh, yeah. So, but to come back to the question you asked, Mondo, just about like all the rotation of people coming into the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really overwhelming, to be honest, you know, and especially when you're stuck in like a room or like I call it like a prison of boredom because there's just nothing to do. You know, get overwhelmed with all these people and
telling the same story.
You know, and I had to say.
Would you have preferred more people or less people, or did it like that like kind of change over time?
I don't think there was a point where I was like, man, I wish people stopped coming.
Okay.
But what I ended up doing was. A lot of times, this is like a shitty situation, right?
He wrote down the story.
No, it became really rehearsed, right? It became really rehearsed where I kind of said the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I felt this need to put on this really big, strong face.
Okay.
Because all these people are coming in, they're super bummed, you know, they're crying, I'm crying, and I'm like, all right, how do I help this out? Essentially, I want to make them feel better. So I started putting on this facade of being like so strong, if that made sense. Like I'd be like, oh, you know, things are going well, but you know, I would always make this little pun. We're taking it one step at a time. I can't walk. But I keep saying that, but they wouldn't pick up on it. But I'm just like...
But it was all front.
It was all front. Like, during the... Like, so they'd have, like, visiting hours from, like, 8 to 8 or something like that. So my parents would come. And I don't even think I've really told my parents this that much. So watch the podcast. Mom and Dad will listen to it. But, like, during the day, I would always have visitors, right? Either my parents or people coming through. And I felt like I needed to do this front... where I had to put on the strong face and be like, you know what, this sucks, but, you know, God is great and all things are good. And I would put up that front from, like, 8 to 8, and then once all the visitors gone, like, it would just change. Well, I'm not saying it changed, but then I didn't have to, like, lie anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I was very upset. I would, like, cry myself to sleep every night, and I was, like, really angry at God. I was like, okay, like, what the hell? What is this? And... the biggest crux for me especially was like me and Adam had like a really heart-to-heart one-on-one. We just like talked about God.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you know, I'm a believer. I'm like, yo, like, and Adam, he had his beliefs and he was like, yeah, you know, I just don't believe the Jesus thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you know, I understand it. Like, you know, if I didn't have like good examples of what it meant to be a Christian, I'd probably be right there with you. But he was like, yeah, there's like, he was just like a really hard stance being like, yeah, there is no God.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I come out of it and he's like, Adam passed away, I had a lot of survivor's guilt where I was just like, damn it, God, why didn't I die? You know, like, you know, he could have like, and I don't claim to know whether Adam was saved or not. Who knows what actually happens in the end. Yeah. But I was very frustrated, like, damn it, like, you could have, why am I alive? You know, and I had that a lot, like, and that survivor guilt lasted a lot longer than I'd like to admit as well. You know, it's like a lot of times like, oh, you know, the first few weeks I was like that. That's what I would say. But in reality, like, I was struggling with that for like 2 years, you know, on and off. Some days better than others.
I never even heard of that, survivor's guilt. I never even heard of that.
Yeah, because you blame yourself. Say, damn it, why did I live? And it was really interesting because, you know, I'd put up this front of being really happy and try to put all my family and friends at ease. But then when, you know, the lights turned off and I was by myself, I was just like cursing God, being like, hey, like, what the heck? You said you're this thing and I don't feel it. I don't see it, you know?
Did it make you question your faith at all? Or were you just upset at God? Or,
For sure. Like, there was moments where especially in Ventura City Hospital, they like under medicated me a lot. Like I'm just being honest. Like they're like poor like hospital, but I'm like, I just broke my legs and like
It hurts.
I couldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep. I would maybe sleep an hour a night. I would literally be up till 5 a.m. in pain, watching the clock, waiting to ask for my pain medication that gave me no relief.
God.
But then I would pass out from exhaustion from 5 to 6, but then at 6 a.m. they come to draw your blood and to do vitals. And then from 6 to whatever the next day, it's whenever, the only time I really slept is when I was just so tired. I would just essentially pass out, but I was constantly tossing and turning, and because I had all these like skin grafts, and they were trying to, at that point they're still trying to put my legs together. They were trying to make because I had to get skin taken from my legs to like patch up on my other legs. So yeah, kind of like a crazy situation. And it's funny because I think you asked like questioning God, right? And I mean, in that moment I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't lining up with my
square the
version
circle.
with God. And it was that way for a long time.
What changed that? Or was that like way after? Or...
So it's like, yeah, that's a good question. What changed? And it's one
Or
of those
has it
things.
changed? I don't know if where you're at
Yeah.
right now.
So I guess it's, when people say like, oh, time heals all wounds, and I think that has some like truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, at least before the accident, I would tell, I would always quote this verse as like Romans 5:3 or 5:4, and there's like a couple verses, but it talks about, we don't only rejoice in the pleasures of life, but also in our sufferings, because suffering produces perseverance, character, hope. Hope does not disappoint us, because God has poured out his love in our heart by the Holy Spirit whom he has given us. And I remember when people would be struggling with something, I would whip out that verse and be, oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Not knowing what suffering looked like.
Yeah.
And then after having this accident happen, in the moment, I hated it. I hated it so much. And I was like, man, this fucking blows.
Yeah.
This isn't God. Like, what good can come out of this?
Yeah.
And as time went on and on and on, and things started getting better and better and better, that verse holds true. And it's weird because in the moment, right, when the suffering's happening, I'm not sitting there being, oh, and I know it's going to work out, right?
This sucks.
No, this sucks.
Balls.
It sucks a lot. And I realized me telling those people that verse in the suffering did nothing. Obviously.
You feel like an ass about it?
If when
I swear, if somebody says that to me.
Oh, dude, okay. Quick tangent. This was my biggest pet peeve ever. People would come and visit me.
God
and
has
I'm
a
like,
plan.
not even that. No, this is my best part. Oh, you're young. You'll bounce back. And they'll be like these 85.
Literally can't.
Yeah, and these are these 85-year-old people like, oh, you're young. You'll just bounce right back. I'm like, bitch, have you had both your legs broken? And secondly, bounce like it just because what they were doing is they were essentially just saying, oh, it's not a big deal what you're going through right now. They're minimizing what is happening.
Yeah.
And I realized when I would tell people those verses when they're going through this hard thing, it's minimizing what's happening. I'm saying, oh, well, it's going to work out. Don't worry about it. And that's the truth. But the thing is it takes time and it takes a lot of work. And I think a lot of times what happens if you get frustrated because you want to be at that end goal right away. You're like, man, I want to feel good about this right away. And the thing is that you don't.
I think even about you say about minimalizing the problems, like even if it is like a stupid ass like something that actually is like very minuscule, like you get over that real quick. It's like at the same time you can't really put yourself in their shoes or see their perspective of it, even if it's silly and like minuscule to you. Like it may be a big deal to them and actually hurt them, even though you don't believe it's hurting them. It actually may hurt them. So and
and even the smallest issues can be the biggest things. Like, I'll be the first, I rage at freaking everything. And sometimes the smallest little things, I'm just like, man, you know what I'm talking about.
I know, 100%.
But, and it's one of those things that just took a lot of time, and the only point where I could realize that healing is looking back. Is being like, wow, that's where I was then, look where I'm at now. And it's just one of those things that just takes time and work. A lot of it is an attitude game, which is, you hear that a lot, at least with like health and recovery, or even like in other situations. A lot of it's like your attitude. Like, are you gonna allow this to define you, or are you gonna let this push you to who you want to be? So, I don't know. It's crazy.
So you had all kinds of surgeries and procedures and all that. I don't know what did that look like when you're in the hospital. You were in the hospital for 6 weeks?
Yeah, I was in the hospital for 6 weeks. I think I had a total of 13 surgeries in the hospital, or I don't know if it was 13 surgeries. It was probably not 13 surgeries in the hospital. I believe my last surgery, which was a year and a half ago, I think that was the 13th one on my legs, and that was to make sure all the skin grafts took.
Okay.
Because the muscle and all that crap wasn't necessarily gelling and didn't want to take. And that in itself was its own struggle too. But
it's nice to see. All right, so you after 6 weeks, you finally get out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You get back. You had just moved out, right? You were living.
I already been moved out of my parents' house for a couple of years at this point.
Okay.
So I moved back in with my parents. Yeah,
and,
which is interesting.
And dude,
you know,
what was that like, dude? Because I know that's got to be a whole. That had been an experience itself. Like that's gotta be the harder part. Like the recovery, dude. You're freaking learn day by day.
Oh yeah, I mean when you need help doing everything, like going to the bathroom, like I couldn't get out of bed, so someone would have to help me get onto a toilet, or like it's called a commode, I guess. To get on a toilet, poop, help me get off the toilet, and then for them not to take that poop and piss out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like huge. And then since all the tendons in my right hand were destroyed, I had a hard time eating as well because I'm right hand dominated. So I couldn't cut my food. I had to my mom had to cut everything and I would eat that way. It was like a huge change going from completely independent, maybe see my parents a little bit, to having my mom wiping my ass on a consistent basis is a huge change. And the biggest thing was just whenever was in your old room actually for a minute, there's just nothing to do. It was just like Netflix, and it was like this.
What'd you watch? Everything.
Oh, well, it's funny. My mom's like, "Oh, I heard this show called Sons of Anarchy. You should watch it." Start watching it. Mom hated the show. It's like, this show's hell. People are killing people. There's hookers, murderers. This is a terrible show. I'm like, Mom, this is what you told me to watch, and I'm watching it. There's like 10 seasons of it. I got time.
This is one thing I got.
This is what I'm gonna do. So I watched Sons of Anarchy. I think I caught up on Breaking Bad. Just a whole bunch of random shows. Try to play video games with my crippled hand, and that didn't work. Well, it did, but it was just real bad. But that whole transition. Well, that was the funny thing is I was with my parents for I think 2 months maybe.
Okay.
So I think I moved back out in the beginning of February, I believe. So essentially once. Because I had all that physical therapy going 24/7 and trying to relearn to walk. And the thing was, as I was here, once I could walk, I was walk or stumble around as much as I could. It's like, oh, I wonder if I can drive.
Oh, gosh.
And then once I could drive, I said, I'm moving out. And my mom was like, this is a terrible idea. And I was like, it is, but I need to get the hell out of here. And I remember moving back in to where the place I was before, and me getting out of bed, it would take me 3 or 4 times, and I'd be like, yeah, I maybe shouldn't have left this early, but this is so much better than the alternative. But
your mom was probably so sad.
Oh yeah, there's a picture. It's we're sending Jake off, and it's just.
Damn, and were you walking around with a cane at this point, or were you just
at that point? I had a
walking
stick.
Stick.
I went from wheelchair to crutches to walking stick, and I had the walking stick
a gentleman.
Yeah, like a gentleman. It was more of a hiking pole.
There you go.
It was a trekking pole. Sorry, an explorer. So, I had that for a minute. And do you remember? Were you here for the beard experiment at all, or no?
I don't think so.
But
that dope ass beard or what?
No, dope, no. But
beard, yes.
No, but when I was in the hospital, I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna shave until I can walk unassisted." It took me a long time to walk unassisted, and I had the scraggiest.
Do you have a picture of that?
Oh yeah.
I'm about to use that for the podcast.
You should.
Photo
There's
for sure.
Totally a bunch of. You can look at my mom's Facebook. I looked so homeless, dude. It was so bad. And it was orange, too. You've never seen me, like, grow my facial hair
Full
out.
ginger?
Well, I'm blonde mustache, so you can't even see it. But then I have this orange beard, and it was, like, and I hadn't shaved, I hadn't trimmed it at all.
Like a
It was
broke-ass
just some
leprechaun?
patchy ass. I'm wearing moccasins, sweatpants is my general attire, and a walking stick. I look like a freaking joke, but that was my life, and it was good. It was good.
Damn, dude, at what point, if you do even at this point, have you felt like back to like normal, I guess, or back to like healthy to where you like just walk around, feel good, like not worried about hurting yourself every day, or you're still not there?
I'm still not there. Like I've gone rock climbing a couple times with Jim,
Yeah.
but there's always this like worry in the back of my mind every single time.
Drop.
Every single time I drop, it's like even when I'm climbing, there's the fear if I tumble, this could re-break my legs. Even though I've got like the rods in there, and things are healed, it's just always back in there. And even when I like run or I ran with Jake Romero a little bit,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
You're clear to do anything.
I'm clear to do anything, but things aren't
Yeah.
the same. Ankles
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
work
yeah.
nearly the same.
For sure.
I'm a lot weaker in
And
some
that mental
areas.
thing's huge. The mental
thing's almost
probably bigger than
everything.
everything, yeah.
So I don't know when or if I'll get to a point where that's not something back there, just because of how long I wasn't doing anything and how hard it was to get where I am now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get over that worry of breaking again. I think the only way I'll ever get past that is if I just like start just doing wacky ass shit. And I don't know. The thing is, I say that I'm like, I don't want to do wacky ass shit because I don't want to go back. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's been perfect. I think like the last like big question I asked you is like I don't want to sound, it will sound cliche.
Okay.
But I think
That's okay.
you're honest enough for me to tell me the truth. I don't want you to fake the funk with me.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like, do you think that experience give you a new take on life to any extent, or is it just kind of like at this point you feel good, you feel healthy, it's just kind of like the same thing going on, or did you think of anything any different?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like outlook on life is like big, and the one thing this is something I always try to, whenever people ask me about the accident, I always try to end with this point if I can. But people are like, all right, if you could choose between the accident happening again or not, and to say if the accident happened again and maybe Adam lived,
Yeah.
right? But if you could choose going through that again, like, would you? I'd be like 100%.
Really?
100, like not even a hint of doubt in my mind. Like, would I choose otherwise?
Really?
And
That's a bold statement.
100%. And even there's like, and this is gonna sound like even crazier, a little bit crazier. If I had to go through that accident and maybe I couldn't regain the ability to walk, I would still choose that experience again, which sounds crazy.
Sounds ridiculous.
Sounds ridiculous, right? And after going through this whole process from hospital to living at home to recovery, and even now just learning what the new normal is.
Yeah.
It's totally changed me. Like I was kind of hinting at before, a lot of times we go through life knowing some truths, right? Be like, oh, like hard things do make you stronger,
Yeah.
right? Most people would agree with that statement,
Yeah,
but
for
maybe
sure.
not everyone has gone through that experience to understand what that looks like.
Yeah.
And now that I've gone through that and understand what that tempering does and how that tempering does change you, I wouldn't choose to not go through that. And seeing how much I've grown and ultimately knowing more and more who God is, it's like night and day. And not to say that I live like this exemplary different life. It's not like, I'm still the same Jake.
Yeah.
Freaking clown. Like, don't take my life very seriously. But, I recognize what in life really matters.
Yeah. And what are those things? Or
What are those things?
What does really matter for you?
People and relationships, I think, are number one. Like, and money is like garbage. Like, money doesn't mean shit.
I like that.
And I can,
I like that.
and the thing is, I feel, even saying that, I feel like, it feels kind of backwards because I live a really privileged life.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
my parents are really well off. the accident gave me a decent settlement, which is kind of working towards my retirement someday. But if the things that mattered most, right, were just the time I spent with the people in this journey, and the seeing this love that people had poured out onto me was unreal. I would have never experienced that kind of love, or would have known how much those people loved for me if I had gone through that. And sometimes you forget like what matters, and sometimes we get hung up on like, oh, if I only get this job, then I'll be happier. Blah blah blah. Or oh, if I get this like relationship, or like this like money, or this like house, then like that'll change how I feel. But in reality, it's like what matters is spending life with one another. And that's a lot of times it's easy to be an autopilot where we like, you're going on this trip to experience life without these rigid things. Being like, oh, I have to do this, Yeah. It's like, no, life is about living with one another and making sacrifices for one another. And I don't know, that's like huge for me. That's what matters most. I think it's just each other. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
That's perfect.
But I don't know.
That's beautiful.
Like, and that's why when you told me, it's like, oh, yeah, I know you got work the next day. We don't have anything planned. You don't have to stay up too late. I'm like, I don't give two dams. I got work early tomorrow. I have to be at the shop at like 6:30. But I would spend, knowing you're here tonight, I would stay up till 3 with you if that made sense, or if that's how the night unfolded. Like that's what matters.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Like seriously, when my mom called me telling you were coming here tonight, I was like, Armando tonight? I was not prepared. I'm about to ditch all my other friends to see you, knowing I'll hang out with them later, but being like, screw game night. If I have to miss game night to spend time with you, I'll definitely do that. So, I don't know.
No, that's awesome. You crushed it. I think that's probably like one of my favorite interviews, like by far.
Well, better be blood. No, I'm kidding.
No, thanks for sharing all that, because I know it's got to be a lot of that's still got to be touchy. I mean, just stuff that you don't really.
Well, that's the
bring up. I don't know.
Well, you want to hear the funny thing is I did a testimony on my 2nd anniversary of the accident.
Okay.
And that testimony was complete bullshit. Like when I was up there, I put on this like total face of like, yeah, God is great, everything's perfect, and everything works out.
Was that First Press?
No, this was at, Sam Wright? Did you ever meet Sam Wright at all? I don't know.
Maybe, probably.
I don't know. I did my testimony, like my 2-year anniversary. I went up there. Some of it was like true, but like a lot of it, I was still presenting this idea that
you kind of just fluffed it.
I was like fluffing it, but not even that. I was trying to, essentially, I felt like if I was struggling still, then God wasn't big enough.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And so I was like, oh yeah, and I totally like, I never talked about me crying after Zint, talk about how I like struggled with like abusing my pain medication and alcohol, especially in like the years afterwards, where I didn't want to feel anything.
Was that a big thing? Just like numbing the pain?
100%. When I was like it was funny because
you had oxys or
Percocet, dude.
I remember I took a Percocet I think it was like they're like little baby pills when I took it, and it was just like I was just gone. I didn't feel good. I was like immediately
Percocet
nauseous.
And alcohol.
Yeah, it was bad.
Bad.
It was bad.
And the thing is like a lot of people be like, oh, Percocet and alcohol, that must have been a lot of fun. I'm like, bro, like I'll tell you right now,
Does it look fun?
No, it's nothing to do with the accident. It was like the reason I was taking them was because I didn't want to feel anything. I felt like such shit, and I was just like hated myself so much. I was like, I'm gonna take these more than double the dose and then just be handle pulling whiskey for the next 3 hours and then pass out in my chair.
Damn.
Like it was bad. It was like really bad, and it got to the point where I was like doing it really in front of my friends, but then none of them did anything. And I look back at that and I'm like, man, I had some shitty friends back then, dude. So they were like, oh yeah, Jake's taking his alcohol and Percocets. He's totally dumbing out.
It's kind of his thing.
Obviously trying to grab attention or, be like, hey, maybe I'm having problems, but maybe I don't give a two shits. But, yeah.
That's funny.
Wild. But we're here now, and
life's good, dude.
Life's great.
From what you told me and what your parents told me, dude, it seems like everything's great. You got a sweet ride.
Yeah, I got my 1994 Chevy Cheyenne with a flatbed on it.
Flatbed on it.
Hell yeah. Life's good.
Hey, Miss Humaboo at the crib just chillin'. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna do today. How about you throw on something sexy and come my way? I got a treat for you and you're gonna like it. I hear those giggles, go ahead and get excited. You say in bed that your man is a lame guy. Having sex with him is just like watching paint dry. Damn, I really hope that ain't true. But if it is, here's what I'm gonna do for you. And when you get here, I'm not just gonna bang it, I'ma smash it too, so let's just say I'm gonna sing it.
Jake's such a clown, dude. It cracked me up how much he was able to make me crack up, like just talking to him during, what was it, 40 minutes? It wasn't that long. But just how he made every situation so funny. And even right after, I was like, dude, that was just a great conversation to listen to you guys. And I was like, yeah, man, it was a good time. He just seems so authentic and just so authentic, so open, and so just happy, dude, happy. We talked to his parents about it, and I told Jake about it. Like he looks good. It seems like he feels good. He sounds good, and that's just so exciting for me, dude. For those of you guys who know me, it's like whenever anyone is having a good time with life, dude. Whenever they're doing well, like I try to consciously not put those hater shoes on. Like that's always the easiest position to take when you hear something or see something. But I try to go to the opposite, dude, and just sorry about that. Still got a little bit of AIDS, and I just get so pumped, dude. Like I want to share in like your joy, and it sounds so cheesy and corny, but dude, it really is. Like once I see you pumped about something you did, whether it's something stupid as tying your shoes or getting a promotion at work, whatever it is, I'm excited that you're excited, and I was excited that Jake just seems like he's at a point in life where he's just enjoying it, and that's all you can really do with it, dude, because like I tell everyone all the time, like it's so short and it's so fragile, and Jake's like a perfect example for that. But once again, I just want to thank him and his family for everything they've done for me, and thank Jake just for being so open and honest in this conversation, dude. Just, if anything, to know that it's just going to be put out there like that, and to be so vulnerable, it's just very respectable and very honorable. So with that being said, we're going to continue this road trip. I'm going to upload this before Rosella gets more upset. Oh, she's chilling now. She got some treats. She's happy. Love you guys, and not sure when the next time you'll hear from me.
Are you ready, baby? Then let's get crazy. Hope your muscles warmed up, you can't be lazy. Get loose. This is what I like to call smash bang fusion. Gotta focus, mama, you don't wanna get a cooch contusion. I like to mix it up, I like to do stuff. I like to start slow, and then I beat it up. You should be cautious, but don't be scary. I'ma have you looking like a wild thornberry. The locals got you dry? Well, let me be your tourist, and I'll leave your body feeling like a rainforest. So let's get it poppin'. Tell me, can you hang? Then let me swing it, baby, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing.
Link Fossey, no nation. Smash and bang is my favorite combination. Kiss it to your toes till you get that sensation. It's a love scene, baby, with no communication. Baby, got mine's off now to the next location. Baby, I need inspiration, your mouth fixation. Smanging them jaws is my life's aspiration. Floss loves ladies and relations. Love it. Call me Marathon, my Jimmy run long. Call me Schwarzenegger, my sex game strong. I smang it Tarantino from dusk till dawn. I smang it everywhere from the bed to the lawn.
Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. Let me swing it, girl, smash it and bang. The way I work that kitty gonna make your heart sing. Hey, turquoise Jeep, hey, another banger, hey, or should I say smanger?